from the security, physical and economic dimensions to abductions across Nigeria, there is a psychological angle that is personal to victims. After 4 months and 15 days, the terrorists who attacked the Kaduna-Abuja train on the 28th of March have released 7 from the remaining 35 passengers in their custody. Some of the released passengers, including a family of 6, the father, Abdul Gaber, his wife, Mayam, and their 4 children, as well as a 60-year-old woman, Aisha Hassan, who was released on health grounds, telling chilly tales about life in the den of the abductors. They said all the victims who are still in captivity are sick and traumatized. Let's hear from some of the released passengers.
Take the federal government to negotiate, to sit with these people, find out their grievances. They have innocent people, hardworking people, men who have left their children, they have left their wives for over 135 days. There are people there stranded. They don't have any means. Please, we're pleading on the federal government, please.
But we thank God for mercy and grace, and we just pray that the rest of the people that we left back would be released as soon as possible. So whatever the government or whoever it is that can support to get them out, we pray that they do whatever they can to get them out as soon as possible.
Really hard watching that. But then, gentlemen, adjusting to life after being held hostage or kidnapped is not a mild process, from denial to shock to anxiety to depression. And many more are still in captivity. Are there hope for safety?
That's a $1 million question. But first of all, let me address the effects of the captivity on those who have been freed. Of course, the trauma is going to linger for long. You know, one of our colleagues did a story. He interviewed a young lady who escaped, who was freed, I think after ransom payment and all of that. The lady said they tied her. So for a while, she lost the use of her hands. She had to go through psychotherapy. You understand? Now, these people, it's not just getting them released. Government needs to also organize, arrange for them to see therapists. Because some of these things will linger in them for a long time. Look at the video we saw some time ago where the terrorists were beating them. You understand? These are things they have had to go through. I think we need to, it's not just releasing them. Look at the woman crying. The woman crying. Of course, it's good they are free. But that freedom is not necessarily eliciting joy. They remember the years, the days they have wasted. People ragtag individuals, you know, nitwits, lording over them. The people are supposed to be dregs of the society.
And some of them even sleep on bare floors.
On bare floors. Some of these people, businessmen, men who were well-meaning Nigerians, who were contributing very positively to the society. They were denied the love of their family and all of that. We need to, beyond their release, they need to undergo therapy. Then, I read the story before I came in. The president met with relatives of the victims, and he said that, okay, the reason they couldn't go use lethal action was because they weren't sure, they wanted to avoid collateral damage and all of that. I understand all of that. But we must, as a matter of fact, prevent this kind of occurrence or minimize it. This thing must be brought to a halt. Yes, I must also acknowledge that they are now making some efforts to fight the terrorists. But then, let us always stop being reactive. Let us be proactive. Many of these things can be prevented before they start. Many of these lives are going to be damaged forever. Now, these ones are free. These ones are lucky. They've escaped. What about those who have lost their loved ones? What about those who have become orphans? What about those who have become widows and widowers? What about those who have lost their breadwinners? Who is going to replace them? You understand? And they did not die under natural circumstances. They did not fall sick and die. They did not even have accidents. Some of them were going to work, they were going to their farms, and they were kidnapped and they were killed. Look at the hotelier in Ogbomoso. Look at the Lautech students. Look at all of those. They did not, what was their offense? They just wanted to, see, an average Nigerian citizen is not asking for too much from government.
Absolutely, yeah.
We just want to eat. We just want to work. We just want to spend time with our families. We just want to live like normal human beings. We don't have to be humanized. Because of the inaction of government, this thing keeps happening. Because of the failure of government, this keeps happening. This has got to stop. Once and for all. It's even for us, most of us who are watching, it's traumatic for us. You know.
Adewale.
Well, the unfortunate thing is that we will never get the full story of what the victims of kidnap, are going through, of what, they have gone through. Because there are some stories that they will never be able to tell because of, stigma that we are associated with it. But of course, we know that many victims of kidnapping have been raped. We know there have been physical assault. We know that while, they were being kept there, many could not sleep, sleepless nights. We know that many will suffer psychological depression, that forever, that scare will last forever. And the most shocking aspect is that women and children as old as 5 years, 7 years, 1.5 years old. Now you wonder, that 1.5 years that you are still, supposed to be, an infant, the baby. How do they respond to the treatment for, the necessary medicine that child needs? Polio vaccine, all sorts of things that a child needs, breastfeeding. Where do they sleep? Rain, sun, the cold? So I know somebody who was kidnapped and he told me that for 7 days he could not sleep. Anytime he sees fellow human beings, he withdraws, withdrawal syndrome. He sees the society as, enemy. He sees everybody as a threat. It's something that you cannot wish away. You need a therapy, to be able to get over that. Unfortunately, potentially, we are all potential victims. Yes. If the convoy of the president could be threatened, if governors are being attacked, it means that every one of us, we are potential, victims of kidnapping. So it's a terrible thing. And the most, one of the shocking aspects is that they are taking millions of naira. What are they using these funds to do? To buy more arms, to kidnap more people. And the people that have been kidnapped and the kidnappers, they are right on our soil. Right. They are not in Cameroon, they are not in Chad, they are in Nigeria. And we are not able to get them.
All right, so gentlemen, let's take this call from Kano. Hello.
Hello, good evening, ma'am.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Dada. Yes.
Good evening.
The other person.
Yeah.
Yes. My name is Tekimbi Hundu. I'm calling all the way from Nasarawa State, local government.
All right.
Yes. You see, Dada. You see, it's unfortunate that we have found ourselves, where we are, where people kidnap others and then they demand for ransom. This is evil. But I mean, what that
All right. Guess we lost that call. Okay, gentlemen, let's quickly talk about the psychological impact of this on the society.
Yeah, I think we are now in the age of fear and trembling. That even when you are sleeping, even when you are sleeping, you imagine anything can happen. I just came back from Abuja, and while driving around, everything, all sort of things.
You drove?
Why in the city? Okay. I was just thinking of so many things. One could be kidnapped. Anything can happen to anyone. So that's the fact that you wake up every day and be thinking that you could be kidnapped. Your children go to school.
You're not sure if
by 2 o'clock they are not back. You are calling your wife. You can't get her on phone. You are already traumatized that what is happening. Your wife traveled to the village, for the 3, 4, 5 hours. You cannot rest. Coming back, the same thing. Your uncles, your sisters. So, I don't know how to explain it, but we are really in a very difficult moment.